And we are live. Awesome. So welcome everyone. This is our Abundance Book Club conversation. We're reading an amazing book this month that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. But before I do, welcome Donna. Thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I was getting an echo over here. Excuse me. Donna does Scripture for Success with the number 4 on Facebook. You're on every day or Monday through Friday, Donna?
Monday through Friday at 9 a.m.
And just rich
9 a.m.-ish. Let's say that.
9 a.m.-ish. Okay, awesome. So check her out. But today we're going to be diving into our book, which is Creating Money, Attracting Abundance. So if you're reading with us, grab the book. It is so much information, so good. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff today that has come out in the last little bit of reading. And into that, I want to let everybody know that there's some ways to come have fun with us and come play with us. You can be on this live every morning, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and pull some really valuable nuggets from what we're reading. But I would recommend jumping into the community, being part of what we're up to and playing with us. And you can do that by going to tabithabenway.com, registering for the book club. It is free, and you'll be able to either jump in the Zoom room with us on any given day that you want to come and have a conversation with us. There's also a whole thread conversation going, and really take abundance deep into your life and make a difference and move yourself forward. As we talked about yesterday, there is nothing like surrounding ourselves with a group of people that really pulls us into what it is that we want to create in our lives. So much value that is available to you there. And we also have an abundance partnership that is available. That's a paid partnership. If you ever want to know about that, you just want to get registered, be in the Zoom room with us, and we'll stay after and make sure that you have information on how that works as well. So let's jump into all the fun. Donna, ready?
Absolutely.
Yay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I love abundance.
Abundance is so rich, and it touches every areas of our lives. Although we mostly talk about finances and self-worth and how all of that is related here in this group, we also pull in other things like, you speak so powerfully into our spiritual health, our relationship with God. We have other contributors who support with other things like health. So there's other things that we talk about as well. And it touches every area of our lives, right?
It truly does. And I always say we're mind, body, spirit. Mm-hmm. And that abundance comes in every single area. So each part of us, so to live in an abundance of health, to live in an abundance of mindset, to live in an abundance of relationships, the abundance of finances actually comes out of those other 3 things. So when we learn to be centered and have a mindset of abundance, that is when we create an abundant life. And it's a promise. It's truly, truly a promise in Scripture in John 15 that says, I came that you might have life in full and have it in its abundance. So that it's ours. We just get to grab onto it and take it.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And whatever level, just for everybody listening, everybody's at different levels. It's all perfect wherever you are. Just step into the next level for you of receiving that abundance. That's the goal here, is that we all are doing that together, locking arms and making a difference for each other and for ourselves and for our families and for our future, all of it. So the first piece that I want to talk about today is from page 9, which is Think Big, Ask for More Than You Think You Can Have. So, and actually we can, Donna, I gave you a prompt that was a little bit different, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I gave you a rush prompt this morning. Sorry about that. It's actually very similar to the one I gave you, which is magnetize what you truly want, not something that is a compromise. So those are similar.
Yeah. So read that again for me, since I didn't have that one. Think big and ask.
So from page 9, it's think big, ask for more than you think you can have. So good, right? Because our minds limit us. And so the one that I gave you that's very similar, that's also later in the book, it's page 37, for those of you following along in the book. Magnetize what you truly want, not something that is a compromise. And this is so big for me because I remember very distinctly as I was opening up yesterday, we talked about our visions and our dreams, really what's in our heart. You're right. That's something that's talked about in the Bible, the desires of our heart they're there for a reason, and we get to unpack them. There are the gifts that we've been given. So in the imagination, in the dreaming, and in the really pulling that out and allowing ourselves to look at it and expand on it. I remember a moment going, oh, my mind wanted to go into the whole thing of what I really wanted to build out and what I really wanted to expand into and live into and create. But there was a part of me that's like, oh, that's not possible. That's too big. So what can I create? And I was in the what's possible, what I thought was possible, not truly what was possible, what I thought was possible. And then just playing so small.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me, and I actually like this topic a little bit better because how you think is how you speak is how you live. And so if you're thinking small, you're going to create small. If you think big, you're going to create massive results. And so, invitation, don't think you have to do it all by yourself. So that's why we have these circles. That's why there are book clubs. So and it goes back to a talk that I gave at a women's conference, in 2019, called Money, Mindset, and Abundance. And the whole thing about the talk was thoughts. So I'm gonna take you on a little flight here. It's called TWA, not the airline, but TWA, Destination Abundance. And so when you think about TWA, what is that? It is your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So as there's scripture, because there's always scripture in my world, that says, as a man, woman thinks, so is he, she. So if you think abundance, if you speak abundance, because again, your thoughts are actually tied to your heart. And out of the mouth comes the wellspring of the heart. So if your mind and your heart are aligned, then that is what you're going to create. If you're thinking, if you're being, if you're living that abundance and you know it in your heart and you know it in your soul, that's what you will create. Now, are you going to wake up? My husband's like, did you know the lottery was $1 billion last night? And are you going to make $1 billion overnight? No. And you can still think abundantly. So when you think about, what does abundance look like? When you shared with me this morning, Tabitha, what do you want? That goes back to my, where that takes me back to the mindset of what do you want? What do you want? What do you really want? And I was listening to a friend of mine share the same thing on a WhatsApp chat. She's like, what do I really want? When you get really clear about what it is, back to Tabitha, you're saying of, your heart's desire, when you think about what you really want, write it down. I'm going to just kind of keep quoting scriptures, Tabitha, that's just me, but because it's practical. So here's the practicality of it. It says, write it down plainly so that you may run with it. So if you're taking that desire, if you're taking that thinking big, put it on paper, because once you put it on paper, it's like, oh, okay. You build out a strategy. I help people build businesses. That's what I do. I come in as a fractional CEO and I help startups build their companies. And sometimes they're big. Like I'm in the process of working with somebody on probably the biggest company I've ever built in my life. And I don't think small. I think of strategy. Okay, this is where we want to go. This is the result we want to recreate. Your desire is your result that you want to create. That is just taking it apart and reverse engineering and saying, how do I get there? What are the steps to get there? And that's where the planning and the doing that we were just talking about comes into action. So we receive the abundance that we desire.
Yeah, and I want to kind of break this down for everybody that's listening. Two parts that are standing out to me. One is, if you aren't thinking big right now, it's okay. Like the very first thought in my head, and I mentioned this yesterday, the very first thought in my head was actually what I didn't want. And that was, I don't want to be alone. And that's okay, because that allowed me to see, oh, I want people around me, hence the community that I have, right? So if that's all you know right now, it's perfect. It's a perfect step to be in. And as you think into that big vision and get really clear about what it is, you don't have to know the steps to get there. Like my whole vision is a full blown out retreat center where I wake up every morning surrounded by people, my community, people growing, people coming in to learn and to play and to have fun together. And so as I'm holding space for that, and I know that that's my journey where I'm creating, I'm very clear about that. I don't know all the steps that are going there. Now, a lot of them have shown up this year. God has definitely been on my side and standing with me and whispering in my ear, because a lot of them have shown up this year and will continue to unfold over the next few years until that big vision is complete. I don't need to know all the steps to get there. My job is to go, what's in my heart? What do I truly want? And hold the space for that and just take the next step in front of me. So just wherever you are, as you're listening, don't, judge yourself or compare yourself or think I should be here, or I want to think of my big vision and I can't. It's all perfect. And just start wherever you are. And I will throw in that in the Zoom room, if you join us for the community in the Zoom room, we're actually going to be doing some activities this week to support you in opening up what it is that you truly want. So if you feel blocked, or if you just don't know what that next big level is, jump in with us. It is going to be so fun. So Donna, go ahead, and then we'll jump into our next question.
Yeah. So just, to your point, Tabitha, it's having the vision of what it is that you want to create, and then pulling that back. And you don't have to have the entire strategies change, just so you know. You may know it, as long as you know where you want to be. There's something else that keeps coming up for me, is that when you set your vision of what it is that you do want, and that really is the key. And Tabitha, I love that you shared, knowing what you don't want is just as important as knowing what you do want. Mm-hmm. So when you think about what it is that you want in your life, still, I have 2 vision boards over here in my office. I look at them all the time because it keeps me on the path and the direction of what it is that I want to create. Do I know how to get, part of it is to lose weight and be healthy. That's not something I do on my own. I have a functional medicine doctor. I have a trainer. I have the systems in place to support me in reaching that. So when you think about what it is that you want, my invitation is to think about it, write it down, because the plan, to your point, Tabitha, will start laying itself out. Mm-hmm. And having communities like this and having those circles of support really will give you the direction of how you get to go there.
Yeah, that's so important. I'm glad you said that, because, sometimes I feel like in the community of like talking about what we want, sometimes there's like, just put it out there and it'll happen. It's like, well, no, we need to take the next step. And absolutely, community, partnerships, connections, coaches, all of those things can support us to seeing our next level and stepping into our next level. And if we just stay right where we are, doing things the way that we've always done them, we aren't going to walk that path. So yes, so important. Thank you.
It is.
And I will say, just really quickly, if you're coming into the Zoom room, awesome. You'll just hang out with us. And then at 20 after, we'll go off of the live. So Donna and I are live right now, and we'll go off of the live and jump into our conversation and activity so that you can actually activate abundance in your life. So lots of fun that we're having this morning. So as you come in, just, you can stay off camera and muted and have fun with us. And then we'll all connect here in a little bit. So the next one is from page 12. And actually this one you didn't get either, Donna, so I apologize.
We're just going to go with the flow.
For you too. It's imagining abundance for everyone will open up even more ways for abundance to come to you. So I'm going to read that one more time for everybody. Imagining abundance for everyone will open up even more ways for abundance to come to you. And I'll just share that what I love about that so much is that when we truly live in abundance, our mindset is there is more than enough. There is so much. I have a banana tree right now. I have fruit trees out on our land. It's so fun. But I have so many bananas that there's no way in this world I could ever enjoy or eat them all. I have to give them away. And they're putting up little pups, like where the bananas, I'm getting more and more banana trees. So I'm also connecting with people like, okay, come take some banana trees, right? Because that's what abundance is. When there's so much, there's more than enough. And when we understand that, we live very differently. Like there's no reason for us ever to hoard or to hold back or to say, I can't share that idea with someone because someone will steal it. When we're living in that abundant mindset, there is more than enough. So imagining abundance for everyone is a way to get into that kind of ahead of maybe ahead of, not being quite there yet. Imagining abundance for everyone will open up even more ways for abundance to come to you. And it is through that community and collectiveness, like you were talking about earlier, that a lot of abundance gets connected. We cannot create abundance in a vacuum.
No, we can't. And what comes up for me is when the more you give, the more you get. Mm-hmm. And so if you're thinking about what's possible for somebody else, if you're thinking abundantly for someone else, I have 3 grown children, but they're still my children. When I think about what it is that's possible for them and really supporting them and creating that lights me up. That actually gives me a sense of abundance in a whole other measure, because I am living in joy and peace and knowing what's possible for them. So even money aside, we intend to leave our children a legacy, not just financially, but of every aspect of how they get to live out their lives abundantly. But it also reminds me of, who do you choose to be to have the impact in the world? You don't have to have $1 million to think abundantly about the people around you and the community around you and the world around you. You get to be like, if I choose to be abundant, then my abundance is going to come in and say, like this morning, a friend of mine's going through something sorrowful today, and I reached out and just left a word of encouragement. When I think about people that are, either in the community or the church and how I can support them, if I can't give financially, what I would do is support them in another way. So when you think about the abundance of other people, because guess what? There will always be a blessing when you bless somebody. And that continues. And so then everyone in the community is impacted. Everybody in the world is impacted when we have an abundant mindset and say, oh, what's possible for you? You speak abundance into somebody's life. If somebody is struggling with their health and you say to them, or whether I pray with them or talk with them or share with them something that I've read, or, as someone that I know that works in health, that is something that I'm seeing, again, vision of possibility, vision of abundance for someone else. And that energy, so there's a statistic that we impact 90,000. So you think we're all energetic beings. We impact 90,000 other people in any given time, in any given day. Because who you be, if you're being abundant and you're seeing abundance in the world, then that energy that you create is actually flowing out to other people. And I love the butterfly impact, because a butterfly is a small, beautiful, and again, it morphs, it changes into something beautiful. It takes that old way of thinking and changes it into something new and something beautiful. But scientifically, a butterfly, when it flaps his wings, has the ability to create a hurricane on the other side of the world. And the first person that thought of that was laughed at. And then they realized in the 80s, oh no, this is real. So think about your ability to create abundant energy, have abundant mindset, and how that's impacting the world.
Yeah, and every person that we contact, that we're in contact with, is touching how many people that day. So one smile, one word can affect how they're experiencing their world and how they affect others. And then it does ripple out. So it is, I mean, 90,000. I mean, you think, well, how in the world do I affect that many people? Well, every person that you touch affects as many people as you're affecting. So that every touch that you make. And I love that you said, you know, it's not about money, right? I'm not recommending that we go out and just like give all your money away. Part of abundance is being able to receive and being able to grow our wealth, right? Mm-hmm. But what we're saying, what you know, you're saying is so important that we get is, what are you abundant in? I'm abundant into bananas. I'm giving a bunch away, right? I just talked about that.
If I were closer.
I know, right? In love and generosity and connection. And people say, well, I don't have enough time. You have enough time to send somebody a message and say, hey, I just thought about you and I just love you so much. You've meant the world to me my whole life. And it's really important to me that you know that, right? Whatever it is, you have that. And if you're constantly looking at, what do I have that I can give away, that I can add to abundance in the world and be generous out, you are creating the flow. I see abundance as the infinity symbol. You are creating the flow of abundance and it flows right back in. So yes, how can you pour out and start that flow for yourself with something that you already are abundant in? And we have limited time, so don't think time away, but you can use some of that time to make a massive, massive impact. So yeah, thank you so much, Donna, for an amazing conversation. We are at 10:21.
Well, I would love to just invite one more question.
Yes.
What are you choosing to be abundant in today? And who are you going to be abundant with today? Yeah. Today is Take Action Tuesday in the Scripture for Success World. So let's take some action.
Yes. Awesome. All right, take some action. You can leave what you're doing today in the comments if you'd like to share with us. We'd love to know. Again, join us in the Zoom room if you want to come have some fun and really create some clarity for yourself. And we'll see you here tomorrow again at 10 a.m. Donna, Scripture for Success with you on Facebook is at what time in the morning? You said 9 a.m. Eastern.
9 a.m. Scription 4, the number 4, Scription for Success. Scripture for Success.
Awesome. All right. We're going to leave YouTube at the moment. If you're in the Zoom room, stay on with us. Everybody on YouTube, we will see you tomorrow.